So connection has redefined itself within this masculine feminine dance. So this is video 4 out of this masculine feminine engine that I'm observing right now. It can be viewed separate, I believe, but I think it makes more sense within the series of it. So connection has been a problem for years, or I should say the lack of meaningful, mindful connection, the depth of seeing each other, the depth of feeling, understanding each other, where we're coming from, what is going on. But now, the way I'm seeing it is completely redefine itself into what I can only speak as separate alignment. Because the feminine and masculine, they're in their own separate way. And they're starting to behave, they're starting to communicate from that separateness. And if you're not careful, or if I should say, if you're only allowing yourself to guide you from the 3D behavioral perspectives, it might look like you're going your separate way, they're going their way, and you lost connection completely, or you're longing for that connection so hard, and you're coming to this desire to resolve this conflict of this longing for the connection. We're either coming together, or let's just separate altogether. I cannot be in this limbo anymore. And what I'm here to tell you is, going back to the sifting process, we are in a completely new world. We have to understand that. This engine of creation is literally creating a completely new frequency. We're in a different space than when we were. Yet we're longing for the same definition of connection out of habit, out of this reactivity. It's more so the addiction of connection, right? If you're not mourning, if you're not in sorrow to understand and uninstall those programs, it's going to be difficult. And what I'm observing is that if you're not seeing how you have to mourn, you're literally grieving the loss of those connection. And through that mechanism, you're uninstalling those needs on a very biological, physiological, emotional, mental level. Many times we get into the most silliest situations and we find ourselves grieving. And in the middle of it, it's like, what exactly am I grieving? Because this is kind of ridiculous. This is what you're grieving. You're grieving these old connections. You're still doing the work. You're on the right path. But it's a lot better when you understand what's going on, isn't it? And so we have arrived into a totally different definition of connection, a totally different meaning. And we can no longer look at our behavior and our physical contact, our physical intimacy, our interaction, our habits, the way we used to connect and groove with each other. Because I'm changing, they're changing, everybody else is changing. And it's kind of ridiculous to not have this open curiosity of how is our connection changing, right? It's kind of unfair to not ask that question and to start being curious. Oh, who are you? Who am I? I mean, who am I is going on daily. So of course, the relatedness automatically alone is going to change, but they're also changing. And they're becoming someone different. And we're both becoming who we kind of need us to be, is the beauty of it. But the suffering and the confusion, the misunderstanding comes, well, this is not the picture of relationships. It's not the picture of connection that I had in mind. Disney and Hollywood is not telling me that. So it's not matching with my expectation. What's going on? I'm suffering. And I'm not saying that the suffering is an illusion, because it is not. And it is. It's a made up story. But I don't want to abandon the body. I want you to actually go in that suffering and feel into it, because that is the mechanism of the uninstall. It is not personal. What is going on in your life right now, even though it is a personal story, it is a personal unfolding, can you not take it personal? This is a collective movement into the involvement of connection, of love, of freedom, and it's not personal to you. You're doing the work personally. Okay, enough about that. So the separate alignment, this is what words I can use to give me the structure in which I can see the beauty of what's going on. We're doing our own thing, the masculine, the feminine. They're moving along in their separate track. And just because on the 3D it doesn't look like it's together, doesn't mean that it's not aligned. We're each doing it in how it needs to be done. And I want to say that I want to invite you really into relying on your instincts, into your reactions a lot more. We've been educated for years now to control our reactions and to respond, right? If we can just respond from a higher place. Well, we're in a higher place now. Or what if? Let's play with that, right? I'm not declaring it. Let's leave it open. But what if we are in that higher place? And finally, those split-second reactions are pure and are the truth and are real. They're a real expression of the energy that's behind, that needs to be expressed. It is the perfect thing that is happening in the moment. Can we allow ourselves, first of all, and the other to operate from that intimacy of the self and operate from such simplicity and not be offended, right? But say, okay, you're showing me who this new person is, because they themselves don't know. I myself don't know. I can only rely on this. How am I responding? Who is this that is moving through within this new connection? I'm going to honor that. And I'm not going to take this reaction personal, but I will use it as a reflection of what energetically is being communicated with me, and how this new place of connection is to be met. And how I'm finding is that the new connection is through the meaning of connection, because we can't physically meet through the physical. We're in separate lanes. But we have to trust through communication that what you're saying, what you're doing, and we have to finagle and kind of negotiate that communication for us to finally start to see, oh, we're in alignment. It's the same thing. Your depth might be not my depth. I might be way deeper, you might be shallower, you might be, whatever, whatever capacity we have to understand whatever we're talking about, whatever we're working towards. But when we fully get that, oh, at your capacity level, you're bringing in the same meaning to the connection. I'm at a different capacity. I'm at a different meaningfulness. We can definitely not connect. But I can see that the meaning is very much aligned with my meaning. And I'm trusting that this communication is in truth. I'm trusting that how it is that you're going about it is at your full transparent capacity. And mine is too. So we cannot not be connected. We didn't lose that connection because our intent, and this is where we're also moving into, it is a choice, right? And what is your choice? What is your intent within that choice? It is your creation. If you're intending, if you're creating, then that connection can still happen. We don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't have to go into complete demolition. What is important, what those amazing deep values that we hold, that we can create from, those can still work as the pillars of the connection of the self. But the rebuilding of the point of connection, we have to be flexible with that. We have to be playful again, and we have to become non-serious, ask questions, become curious. And then the rebuilding, because what the other, I feel like I'm surrounded by just ruins. I keep getting cards like death and destruction and tower, and then these cards of ruins, like literally buildings collapsing, right? Like or old buildings. We're navigating these spaces that are just no longer applicable. We have to honor that. And we have to physically allow the uninstall of those programs to take place, yes. And with that uninstall, there's going to be sifting. And there's going to be people and relationships and collaborations and whatever else. They're literally miraculously falling apart, but not because we're actively working on the deconstruction. No, it's because we're actually actively working on the construction. And we don't have to focus on the deconstruction. Everything that doesn't apply in this new world is effortless falling apart. Just grieve. You don't have to do anything. Grieve and see how you're redefining what connection means to you. I hope that makes sense. Made some notes. So I want us to kind of keep in mind that the real connections, the meaningful, dear to heart connections to our heart, the ones that are hard and beautiful and magical and mystical, those are not gone. They're evolving. They're literally evolving. So, a couple ideas here. Separate alignment, or whatever your words you want to call it, is the new connection now. There's just a new connection. Let's work with that. Simple, gentle. As we're working on that new separate alignment thing, let's allow outdated expectations of closeness, of intimacy, of this word connection to fall away. There's nothing to do. Just allow it to fall away. And last but not least, trust in the shared meaning without this immediate form. Allow the form to show itself, to come out from your trust of your behavior, from the trust of your new self unfolding alive within this new connection. But trust that the meaning that both or all people within the connection are aligned to that. Hopefully, this brings some calm, some reassuring that everything is okay, because everything is not just okay. Everything is better than okay. We are evolving into something more beautiful than we can ever imagine. And I don't know how that is. As that high priestess energy, as the feminine, I simply know that. I can feel that. And that's where my meaning is. I see you.